It's R-rated, too. So if there's kids around, out of the room. This is bad stuff. Apologies in advance. So Sarah Ransome writes this. Donald Trump liked blanking and blanking her chest until they were raw. One evening when we were showering together, she showed me her chest. They looked incredibly painful as they were red and swollen, and I remember wincing when I looked at them. I also knew she had sexual relations with Trump at Jeffrey's New York mansion on regular occasions, and I once met Jen for coffee just before she was going to meet Trump and Epstein together at his mansion. Again, after all of that minute detail, Sarah Ransome recanted due to what she and her family had been through, she said. There's no reference to the age of the girlfriend named Jen. But I do want to tell you that I spoke with Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark, today at length for well over an hour. And I asked him if he ever knew anything about these allegations. He did not want to go on camera, and he did talk very candidly. He said he didn't know specifics about these kinds of things, but he did say that once he was on his brother's jet when Donald Trump was also on board, and he says he witnessed his brother asking Donald Trump, quote, "Why do you sleep with so many married women?" To which he says Donald Trump replied, "Because it's so wrong." I want to get Josh Schiffer in here. He's a criminal defense attorney, but more importantly, his firm represents a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. So, Josh, look, again, these are emails to a reporter, and the emails are allegations, and then they're recanting allegations. Are they as damaging when you get caught up in the name Jeffrey Epstein and document dump?
You know, and in these emails coming out, remember, the emails themselves, many of them had been released previously, but with the names redacted. So this adds more context. It's the drip, drip, drip of more context from Judge Preska with these different tranches of released material. This is the third tranche. And what we're getting now is confirmation that, yes, these are the superstar celebrities and politicians that we all thought they were. And we're confirming that now for the first time. When you combine them with the allegations, I don't think it really adds exposure for any of these individuals specifically, maybe a little bit for Mr. Branson, but it just adds more firmament to people's belief what folks were involved in and the allegations that were taken seriously.
Let me read a little bit more about what Sarah Ransome wrote to the columnist, Maureen Callahan, famous columnist. She was with the New York Post. She's now with the Daily Mail. And this is what Sarah wrote to Maureen when they were in communications. Dear Maureen, I would like to retract everything I have said to you and walk away from this. It's not worth coming forward, and I will never be heard anyhow. And only bad things will happen as a consequence of me going public. And I know this to be true. On top of that, Josh, a New Yorker reporter, like a reporter with the New Yorker magazine, said that Sarah Ransome admitted to the reporter that she'd invented the concept of having those tapes so that she could try to throw some shade Jeffrey Epstein's way. That's what you call an imperfect witness, or is it worse than that? Is it what you call a zero credibility witness?
And that's why these cases are so difficult for the state, because these recantations, it's on brand for someone who is a victim to have second thoughts, to have regrets, because the process of coming forward is filled with so many unexpected challenges. And in a case like this, it's been alleged that lots of people were leaning on witnesses, showing up at people's offices. You know, the press was on to reduce the exposure for these unbelievably famous individuals. So this recantation, that's just what a legitimate person would do.
Okay.
At the same time, though,
you and I was just going to say real quickly, you and I have been listening to stories about these tapes forever and ever, that they exist somewhere and they're hidden in some vault somewhere. The FBI saw tapes and video evidence when they executed a warrant on his apartment in New York, his townhouse in New York, but they didn't have the warrant to take the stuff. So when they came back to take it, it was gone. And there's a lot of pressure right now on the FBI to release the information and the videos and the pictures. Where are we with that?
As far as I've been able to find out, no one is claiming that those still exist, or if they are, they're not claiming them. We know that they did exist. There's been so much discussion about how he was an inveterate taper and how he had all this kind of compromat stuff, that it was well known and discussed. So I'm very certain it exists or existed, but they might not be able to release it, not just for the reasons of public exposure, But remember, some of this stuff could be evidence of crimes that were then not prosecuted for one reason or another.
We're not done talking, you and me. That one picture we saw wasn't what I was even referring to. It was other stuff that they'd confiscated from him. So, Josh Schiffer, you're hereby invited back. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.